It's the morning after the night before here in Paris, a magnificent state banquet at the Palace of Versailles, hosted by President Emmanuel Macron, King Charles, Queen Camilla, guests of honour, 160-odd guests, but some very high-profile guests indeed, including Rolling Stones frontman Sir Mick Jagger and the actor Hugh Grant. It was a very prestigious menu, let's put it that way. There was blue lobster, French chicken and a 30-month Comté cheese, among some other delicacies as well. Now, during the state banquet, the King delivered a speech, all of which was in French, but he said he was greatly moved by the tributes paid by France following the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. He was profoundly moved, particularly by the gestures of flying the Union flag above the Élysée Palace in Paris. That's the residence of the French President Emmanuel Macron. He also conceded, the King did, that the relationship between the UK and France has not always been straightforward, but of course the whole point of the state visit is strengthening ties between two nations. Britain and France, of course, have a very much shared history. A Foreign Office spokesperson says that a state visit has a positive impact on trading relationships, and he actually, the spokesperson referred to the German state visit that happened a few months ago and how relationships have really improved since that time. It's the monarchy power of soft diplomacy in action. Now, you might be wondering why I'm stood in the rain outside the French Senate, and that is because King Charles III will become the first British monarch in history to address the Senate from the chamber. Now, earlier I spoke to a senator who's actually going to be meeting His Majesty a little bit later on today, Eric Bouquet. He is the chair of the France-UK Friendship Group of the French Senate, and he talked about the importance of building a relationship even, in a post-Brexit world.
It's a new visit by the monarch, by the British monarch. So of course it's a great opportunity because Britain and France must go on having regular and strong relationship. We are neighbours. We are still. You're not in the European Union anymore, but you are still part of Europe. Okay, Dover is still the same distance from Calais, so nothing has changed. We must build a new relationship after this Brexit decision, which I respect, of course. Well, there's been no break in our relationship after Brexit, but this opens a new era of our relationship between France and United Kingdom. So it's a great honour for us. He'll deliver a speech in the House around 11 o'clock this morning, so it will be a great occasion. He'll speak in French and English, but we'll listen carefully to what he has to say to the French representatives, senators and members of parliament.
Well, the Queen and the French First Lady will be launching a new French-British Literary Prize at the Bibliothèque Nationale of France, and other highlights include an engagement with rugby stars, and then tomorrow the King and Queen go to Bordeaux.
Lovely stuff.
Packed schedule.
It is indeed. Cameron, thank you. À plus tard.
Very good. Very good. He needs to get inside. Poor Cameron. He was in the rain in New York and now he's in the rain in Paris. Very tough. Well, Vanity Fair royal editor Katie Nicholl joins us now. And Katie, state visit going very, very well, isn't it, really?
It's going very, very well. And it's interesting hearing Cameron talking about this entente cordiale and this special relationship. But I would like to talk about the wardrobes because I think there was certainly no fashion faux pas, shall we say. I think the navy cape dress that the Queen wore for the state dinner at the Palace of Versailles was just beautiful. We had the First Lady of Paris, or France, Brigitte Macron, wearing Dior as well. And I suspect there must have been a conversation had.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because that, to me, yesterday looked like a faux pas. It looked as though they hadn't compared wardrobe notes. They were both in navy, very similar looks. No. But you think it's
I think it was quite deliberate. Absolutely. I think it was really interesting when we saw our Queen touch down. She was in a beautiful soft pink. She was
that was lovely.
It was very, very lovely. It really suited her skin tones. She loves those pastel palettes, and
they suit her.
They do, and she turned to Fiona Clare, who is one of her most trusted designers. She also wears the most comfortable footwear as well. You could see her coming down those steps and on the plane, not easy to navigate in the wind and the elements, and she's there in her Soul Bliss pumps, which are the most comfortable shoes. She loves them. She's got them in all the colours. And I think the pink was beautiful, but I think to wear that statement navy, to team it up with Brigitte's, and to wear Dior. I mean, she is there flying the flag for Britain and flying the flag for France. It's all part of this special relationship. So I think a word was had. And I wonder also if maybe she might have spoken to the Princess of Wales, because Kate champions that sort of cape dress. And if you remember back to the coronation, we saw little Princess Charlotte wearing a cape dress too. I think it's got everything you would expect, a bit of drama, it's regal. I have to say I thought Camilla looked exquisite.
No, they really have been doing a fantastic job. What did you make of the banquet last night and King Charles's speech in French?
In French, he speaks beautiful French. When the Queen gave a speech, she addressed the Senate. We know that this is going to be a slightly different speech today. I thought what struck me was the personal nature of what he said. I think we now know that La Vie en Rose is one of his favourite songs. He talked about his mother and his late father dancing at the Palace of Versailles, the wonderful trips that they had, and how, so much of their early trips to France influenced his life. He spoke about the special relationship. I think it was very clear that he's very happy to be in France. There is a lovely, cordial entente between all of them. I think they all looked very comfortable with each other.